more from the Curraghs Wildlife Park, and really so much fun watching the gibbons here. I mean, you yourself said beforehand you could come up here just to watch them for hours.
Yeah, I love watching the gibbons. You'll often find me hanging around. The family dynamics are very familiar. They're so like us, or I should say, we're so like them, really. But yeah, they're a great family. Really success, this enclosure.
I remember it was only a few years ago the governor opened this all up. This was a brand new venture a few years ago. We always talk about things moving on, changing. So they seem very happy over there.
Yeah, I mean, Slamit and Nicola came here in 2016 as a couple, and in 2017 Finlow was born, so a year later. Their gestation is 8 months, so just a little shorter than humans. So they were happy, settled straight away. Finlow was born, and 2020 Ailyn came along, which is about the time we'd expect gibbons have babies at 3-year gaps. And the silvery gibbon just live in a close family unit, so that's up to 3 youngsters in the family. Finlow will be ready to move on between the age of about 8 and 10, but they just got a really nice peaceful life. They've got their own private island there. They've got a nice big indoor heated house for when the weather's not so nice. I think it's a bit bigger than mine, actually. And it's just nice to see them have that time to enjoy family life. I've watched Slamit spend all that time investing in Finlow and bringing him on, and now he has a little sister. Finlow has spent a lot more time now with Dad. It's like Dad's job, and Mum's back to looking after the baby again. And we have noticed this time she's just a little bit more relaxed. She's let Ailyn just go a bit further, do a bit more, and it's just like our family dynamics when you watch them. And so great. They just have a really relaxed time.
So you mentioned about moving them on. This is whether it's like 3.5 years where it was. You then for their growth is that they have to go somewhere else.
I mean, they're part of a breeding programme at the moment. The silvery gibbon, it is an endangered species. There's about 2,000 left, and you'll only find them in the island of Java. There's just over 50 in the European stud book, so there's not a lot, and we're one of only 9 zoos that has the silvery gibbons. One thing that we have done is make contribution from our conservation fund. In fact, the park's funded over £6,000 now to the Javan Primate Conservation Centre, and that's run by the Aspinall Foundation. And what they do is, unfortunately, sometimes these gibbons in Java are stolen to be sold into the pet trade, and when they find a youngster who is confiscated by officials because they shouldn't have a Javan gibbon as a pet, they're rehabilitated into this centre for about a year to teach them how to be a gibbon. And there is talk of some of the gibbons born in zoos, because they actually have a much more natural life than these ones who are kept in cages by roadsides, are able to teach their partner how to be a gibbon over about a space of a year and then release together as a couple. So there is the chance that Finlow might actually end up in Java helping rehabilitate gibbons and help the species. So they're released into a protected forest there in Java. So that's a really great conservation project, because that's helping get animals back into the wild who have been wrongfully taken out of the wild.
Fascinating. And in the meantime, they're having a jolly time over there, and the weather's so right for them, they don't mind the Manx sort of conditions.
I quite like my own private island. I think they enjoy the sunshine, they enjoy the nice days. If you're around the area of the park first thing in the morning on a nice sunny day like today, you may hear them sing, and it's really lovely song, and it can be heard as far as Ballaugh and Sulby either side. Wow. If it's nice and quiet. And sometimes if you're lucky, they're actually having a sing-song when we're open at 9:30, but with the longer days that tends to be a bit earlier in the morning. Their song's usually about 7 in the morning at the moment.
And all I can think about is Do the Funky Gibbon. Do you remember that song? Who did that remember?
I think that was the Goodies.
The Goodies, well done. Anyway, Manx names, of course, it's going to be interesting. They go on, and we'll take that with them.
Yeah, I mean, the first Manx gibbons to be out in Java, maybe better travelled than most of us.